Estás escuchando The Bad Guy Show.
The way I can welcome everybody to the Bad Guy Show, El Bad Guy Show, live, Dagr8fm Latino.com. Been having a couple of issues getting back in situated from my long hiatus, but I'm back, and I'm back with one of the homies, Perp Gorilla in the cribbo. What's good, brother? How you been?
I'm doing great. How about you, bro?
I'm good, man. Thank you so much for coming through. I apologize, as you see, things are just moving along, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
For sure.
Yo, I invited you to talk a little bit about your new project, your new EP, and everything. But before we do that, let's have a little drink of what you got going.
Okay, so what I brought with me today is some monkey
you bring
shoulder.
enough for the whole class?
Oh yeah, we got the whole block. We could feed the block right now. So we got monkey shoulder.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar. It's
No, I'm not. So let's see. Let's have a little bit of that. And I'll pour you a little bit of this dark rum.
Yeah. Let's get that rotation.
We're gonna get it going like that. Awesome. This is El Bad Guy Show, not the El Alcoholico Show, but hey, here we are. Salud, brother. Cheers to Miami hip hop, right?
For sure.
Hell yeah. Dope. Well, again, welcome, brother. We were just talking about a little minute ago about last time that we saw each other, and I see you still grinding. Tell me about the new EP, man.
And this EP is called Primitive Thoughts.
Okay.
So just really tapping in who I really am.
Right.
All the different voices, all the things that I've experienced.
Cool.
A little bit of what we, all as humans, what we might go through and what we're not willing to speak on.
Okay.
But it's deep rooted. But
I see that.
That's why it's called Primitive Thoughts. Because shit gets wild.
And you talk about kind of like the voices and everything like that. Tell me a little bit about that, because you're kind of like singing in a couple of songs. You're not just straight rap. Blah, 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 blah. How does that feel to kind of like leave your comfort zone, so to speak, right, and get on something a little bit more experimental? How did that come about? And what was that like?
Well, at first it was really shout out to the homie Jeff Agia.
Okay.
He produced most of the body of work.
Okay.
And
He goes by
Moonlight
Moonlight.
Jones.
Yes,
Yeah.
he goes by
He
Moonlight
goes by
Jones. Shout out to Moonlight Jones.
Yeah, shout out to Moonlight Jones.
Without.
And we just we jammed together. We met through a mutual friend.
Okay.
We also started a band.
Okay.
And a production company together.
Because you play, right?
Yeah,
What do you play?
I used to play trombone.
Okay,
I don't
nice.
practice as much, but I still can hold a tune.
Okay, nice. That's what's
Improv
up.
a little bit.
That's dope.
Harmonica. I play a couple instruments.
Very
but
cool.
Mainly, my main instrument is my voice.
Okay,
so,
nice.
So it's just guitar. He plays awesome guitar.
He plays as
and
well.
a lot of the things that he's cooked up kind of just put me in the mood to kind of just share a little bit of my sexy side, my aggressive side, a little bit more lyrical, a little more melodic side as well.
Right.
Something that I was challenging myself this past year was to get myself vocally trained.
Okay.
And I feel like just going this route and challenging myself with these different tracks and trying to nail them on the head and marry myself into them, it kind of fell into place, and that's what came out.
So you would say that the production element, that Moonlight being such a big part of this, is kind of what helped you step out of that.
Exactly.
Step out of that comfort zone, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We'd sit down. We'll have brainstorming sessions. We'll cook up on the spot, and there'll be times where a song will be made in 10 minutes.
Right.
And there'll be times when a song will need a little bit more TLC.
I can relate to that. Yeah.
But for the most part, I can really feel myself in each song every time you press play for each one.
That's awesome, man. That's fucking awesome. How do you feel that this process of, bringing this EP to life, how does this process differentiate from like other times, other projects that you've done in the past?
Well, This one's just different just because of the vibes. Most of them are like reggaeton,
Right. Very
Caribbean,
islandy, yes.
yeah.
Which
you
much
might-
respect, man, that,
You know?
that you got on some shit like that, because a lot of times, and I'm sorry to interrupt you,
No problem.
I feel like a lot of times in the rap scene, whether it's in Miami or anywhere else, like there's like people who are very like overzealous about how a rapper should quote unquote sound, like how an MC should sound, and
Yeah.
the music that should be behind an MC has to be a certain type of music, or else you're not. And I like the fact that you've embraced something that is out of that
Yeah.
norm.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely. Just like you said, like a lot of other rappers, or I would call them my colleagues.
Okay, yeah.
My
yeah.
peers, you know,
Peer.
they'll look at it
Fair.
as like, why are you doing that? Like,
Really?
you really
Right,
stepping
got
out
that.
and you put your neck out. People may not rock with what you got, but I gotta stay true to myself.
That's definitely.
And
that's
being
definitely.
from the Caribbean myself, you know.
Where's your
blood-
family from?
Oh, my family's from Haiti.
Oh, really?
So
Awesome.
I'm a
South
soul.
Side.
Nambule.
The owners here are Haitian.
Oh, they are. All
Haitian
right.
Dominican, yes,
That's
sir.
what's up.
Yeah,
You know, so I feel like in a way, let me show homage to my heritage.
Right.
You know,
I
my
love that.
upbringing,
I love
and
that.
my heritage isn't just black. You know, it's Latino as well.
Right.
So I feel like that's why me and you are able to, you know, see
To connect, yeah,
to
and
connect
see it,
and
yeah,
see
yeah, I see it, yeah.
on the same line of thought. You know,
Yeah.
and then other homies like Jax or who's the other homie that just came back from Cali? You probably know him, Triple Z.
Oh, yeah.
There's another
Yeah,
one of
yeah,
the
yeah.
homies, Latino as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, I speak Spanish a little bit.
Okay.
You know, it's a little Spanglish. It's broken up, but for the most part,
What was Jack's reaction?
Jack's reaction, oh, he loved it.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he loved it.
He wasn't one of those saying, "Oh, you might be stepping out a little bit more."
He hinted at it,
Yeah.
but then he kind of understood, and he heard how comfortable I was with
I think
my
that,
voice.
That,
So he was like, you know,
that's
I'm with it.
everything right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's you can hear when an artist kind of isn't feeling himself on a track,
Exactly.
and I think that's a mistake. Because if you don't feel yourself on a track, no matter what the situation is, you gotta be ready to be true to yourself.
Exactly. Like a lot of people would tell me, you'll tell who's faking and who's real just by how they present themselves
Yes.
and the first moment they speak. So
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. I like the fact that you did this in that way without kind of like really minding what others would say, minding what the movement quote unquote would feel. And you kind of like you and Moonlight kind of like really kept it, you know what I'm saying, like very original
yeah.
and authentic to yourselves. I feel like kind of like very personally, not that I feel mentioned, but I feel like I find myself in what you did because it's my way of doing things as well. In
Okay.
the sense that like I'm constantly mixing like the Hispanic culture into the culture, into what I do. You know what I mean? My new mixtape has that essence of if you're a real MC, you can rock any beat and you can rock any crowd.
Yeah.
You gotta be ready to do that shit. As a matter of fact, you
Yeah.
can't just shy away from it because it's a pitbull beat or because it's a reggaeton or because it's not what you
Yeah.
think boom bap. I'm sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Like what people think rap or hardcore rap should be. Everything has its moments, right? And
Absolutely.
when you make this kind of music, you're kind of more opening up to more types of moments. I feel, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? A person can, like maybe doesn't want to hear a boom bap track like right when they did with the
Yeah.
honey. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
you
for
want to hear
sure.
something a little bit more, digestible.
More smooth.
Yeah,
Something
yeah.
that makes you kind of just want to grab a dark drink,
Sure.
pour up.
Yes, yes.
Chill.
Have you had moments like that where you've pulled into your music as far as like writing about love and women and stuff like that? Is that always a personal experience, or is it
Sometimes
do you
not.
pull from other
I pull from other
life
people.
experience.
I pull from. I firmly believe like not everything that we do on this earth is just our experiences alone. So you might go through something yesterday,
Right.
and that lesson that you learned yesterday may not apply to you, but the fact that you chopped it up with a little homie like me today,
And you get something from it.
I get fed from that.
That's awesome. That's fucking awesome that you have that perspective. It's hard to find people that will learn from others.
Yeah,
in that
definitely.
way. You know what I mean? You gotta have a very open mind. You have to have an artistic mind.
Yeah.
Because to have an artistic mind is to have an open mind. Right?
Absolutely.
You look at a lot of the great hip hop records, you know, hip hop songs that are out there, like Brenda's Got a Baby.
Yeah.
You know, Pac is not talking from a personal experience. He's talking about something that he heard somebody else go through, somebody maybe he saw somebody else go through. So much music is made in that way.
Yeah.
So it's very cool that you're able to do that. My respects, you know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
When you're like in that zone where either before you make a song or before you go to a studio, do you listen to any artists to like inspire yourself kind of indirectly from, or do you try to stay? Because I've heard of people that are kind of like, oh, I don't like to listen to other people because I don't want to be influenced by what they do.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I feel like there was always one before, so
Okay.
we kind of follow suit, but in a way, yeah, it's good to separate yourself and work on your own, you know, kind of art. Go ahead, yeah, be my guest. But you know, for me, I would listen to a lot of different artists, of course, especially when I'm working on my own personal art. So I'll sit down with a pen and pad, and I'll listen to J. Cole. That's just to name one person,
Right.
not just, you know.
So
just
you'll
exclusively, yeah.
so you'll sit down and be inspired, take notes. What is it that you kind of do there?
I feel like there was a teacher I had in high school. She used to always say, to be a great writer, you would have to be a great reader as well.
I totally agree with that.
I kind of try and absorb as much as I can from the greats or my peers, you know,
Yeah.
and kind of just dissect what's going on. Listen to the flow, listen to the wordplay, you know, listen to the production.
Right.
Because, you know,
Right.
that can drive a lot of things.
Of course,
to happen.
it sure
So
does. Yeah.
I'll listen to music over and over and over, drill it in my head. I might listen to the same song
Yeah.
over and
Time
over
and time again.
by this artist, you know,
Yeah.
just to get what he's trying to put across on that record and kind of just gain my own experience from it too.
You know, it's refreshing to hear you speak on it that way. Honestly, I deal with a lot of artists, and I like to, like I was saying a little bit before, I'm a fan of people who make music with their hearts, that make music passionately, that make art passionately. And yeah, man, it's dope to hear you say shit like that, because it's very out of the ordinary. You know what I'm saying? I run into a lot of the same old, and not that it's not merited and it doesn't sound good, or it's not valid. I find it 100% valid, but it's always cool to find those little nuggets of that differentiate. You know what I'm saying? The culture, and I think that Miami has that advantage over other cities, that we're such a mixed community in general, that our hip hop culture has to reflect that.
Yeah, it
You know
does.
what I mean?
It definitely does. You'll have a lot of different, you know, artists, and they're either speaking their language natively,
Right.
or they're showing that the street vibe that's exclusively Miami, you know.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
And it goes across the whole board, not just for, you know, the Sunshine State, but everywhere else. You know, you'll feel that vibe coming from each and every nook and borough out there.
Right.
Like how these people are spinning. And I just feel like, me personally, like I was blessed to be born Haitian. Like, it's kind of weird, you know, people get picked on, or, you know, bullied, or, you know, the stigma, you know, being a black man, being raised in America.
Definitely.
Like, but there's a lot of great things, pros that come with that.
Right.
there's no other style, there's no other thing that can compare to being Haitian, you know? So I just pay homage to that and kind of pull the essence out and just display it to people and share, you know?
That's awesome. That's awesome that you're in touch with your roots that way.
Yeah, definitely.
Tell me a little bit about how was it for you growing up? Did you grow up in kind of like an artistic household, or was it something that you gravitated to at school? How does that
Well, growing up, my uncle was always playing his trumpet, so he's big on jazz music. One of my earliest memories was sitting in this truck, bumping Louis Armstrong,
really?
Miles Davis,
Damn.
and then we flipped the switch and listened to Bob Marley.
Dope.
So
Dope.
that left a big imprint on me. By the time I was 10, my mother, initiated that action of, hey, how would you like to play an instrument?
Really?
And
So
that's
awesome.
when, I started taking the music thing a little more serious.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. And what instrument did you gravitate
I
towards?
started playing trombone. At first I wanted to play saxophone or trumpet like my uncle.
Right.
But then I realized all the other kids in class were picking those instruments. And I just wanted to be different. I always was that one child that was in the back of the room. I was laughing and making ruckus with the others.
Yeah.
But then as soon as everybody will follow one path, I'll say, no, I'm going to try this route and see what I could yield from it. So
Cool.
that's
Cool.
why I picked trombone. It was just because everybody else was picking the popular instruments.
That's what's up. And when was it that you fell in love with hip hop?
Hip hop, 7 years old.
Yeah.
If I could think as far as back.
What artists? What artists?
Nas was on.
Yeah.
And my cousin was bumping it heavy in the house.
Yeah.
So I was listening to Nas like Illmatic
Yeah.
at that time. So I was like, wow. And then
Did you grow up here in Miami?
I grew up here in Miami.
100%, huh?
Not 100%. I also grew up in Orlando, so a little
Okay,
back and
okay, yeah.
forth. So shout out to the homies out there in
That's what's
Orlando.
up. Yeah, shout out to Orlando.
Yeah, so a little back and forth. So I got a different upbringing from the people around me, what they
Yeah.
would listen to,
Yeah.
and then what I chose to listen to, because I would listen to rock music. I'll listen to country sometimes,
Nice.
pop music, and it's kind of prevalent in my music too. If you listen,
yeah,
so
yeah.
you'll see hints
You have
of little things here and
of
there.
your inspirations, huh?
Absolutely,
That's
yeah.
cool. That's cool. Once you found hip hop, was it something that because you said your mom kind of helped you with the music thing, and that's very awesome. But when hip hop came into the picture, was she that open to it as well?
Well, she was a little more open to it because she knew that me just writing out my word, like the things in my mind
Okay.
and in my heart, putting them on a page,
Yeah.
kind of just venting. She understood that as a positive,
That's so
kind of
cool.
activity.
That's what's
So it all stemmed from writing poetry, though.
Okay.
Kind of mentioned like a teacher that I had in my past.
Okay.
I want to shout her out, Mrs. Growett.
Okay. Shout out to Mrs. Groya.
Yeah, she was an English teacher that really kind of just sat us down and just taught us the world of writing and prose. So after writing in her class, I continued to write poetry.
Really.
And then I already understood what poetry could, blossom into.
Right.
So I continued that for probably a couple years, just writing some things. But I would constantly listen to instrumental beats, and my mind was just stir crazy. I wanted to have a certain structure.
Okay.
So I was like, you know what? Let's switch it up and let's put this paper to a beat and let's see what comes out. And I started freestyling and stuff, meeting different people when I go out and do open mics, things like that. I would do poetry too,
Okay.
but then I would switch and rap and sing. Yeah. So
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. That's real dope, man. It's I don't know. Sometimes it's a little harder, or some artists, we don't have that kind of like support with our families. but it's always dope to see people who do and to see it blossom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When your mom sees you now making music, does she listen to what you make?
She does. She actually does.
What does she think about this new project?
This new project, she hasn't said anything yet.
Okay.
It's kind of fresh. I haven't even reached out to kind of, pick her brain about, the whole thing.
She's probably gonna love it.
But I know for a fact that one of the joints on there, she's familiar with it.
Okay.
And she just loves it. She didn't expect me to have such a nice voice. That's something that she
That's
kind of,
dope.
so she thinks it's pretty cool that I can surprise people.
Yeah. That's really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, she's so proud of me too, and I'm so proud that I get to share things that is myself, and she's proud of it too.
For sure. That's what's up.
It makes me happy.
No doubt. So now, this new project is out. What's next for Purple Gorilla?
What's next? Something completely new that you guys may not be ready for. So
is this something you're working with Moonlight Jones as well?
Yeah, Moonlight Jones and I were working on some new stuff.
Okay.
And then also I'm working with Miami Beatwave.
Okay.
So we can get some.
Beatwave is a monster.
Yeah.
Beatwave is a monster. Shout out to Beatwave.
Yeah, shout out to Beatwave.
It's incredible that you're like out here grinding, that you're putting your stuff out there. It's the right thing, man. So keep on doing it. What kind of advice would you give somebody who is kind of like looking further away in this whole rap game and this whole thing? What kind of advice would you give somebody?
If you're just starting out, just stay true to yourself. Like I said earlier, people will pick through and weed through, the fakes. Just stay true to yourself, and people will naturally gravitate towards you. And also just listen, just be an avid listener or reader of new things. If you never heard of literary devices, you better start studying now.
Nice.
That's just a couple of things I could mention off the top.
Very dope, very dope. Very insightful too.
Yeah, and don't quit. Just keep going. Push forward. Even when you're doubting yourself, just keep on, giving yourself positive affirmations and just push forward. You never know what you're gonna bring out the next day. Just don't quit.
That's what's up. Let them know where to find you, social media, websites, where can they get at you?
Okay, so you'll find me on Instagram at perp.gorilla. You can also find me on Facebook under the same. I'm everywhere. Purple Gorilla. The name inspires hope, royalty, but we all have a little savage inside. So.
We do. That's what's up. Y'all heard it from the from the gorilla himself, from the mouth of the gorilla himself. Man, I want to thank you for coming through. Thank you for having the patience that you have with me and getting everything set up.
I want to say thank you for inviting me out here too.
It's a pleasure, man. It's a pleasure. I'm so glad that I was able to get you out here.
Yeah.
And that I'm also very grateful that you're making the kind of music that you're making, because it inspires me to make better music. It inspires other people, and I just love listening to it, man. You're doing a really good job.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that.
Any shows coming up?
Shows? Not yet. As soon as we get some word, I'll throw it up on the IG and on the Facebook.
We'll be there. You know what I'm saying? Fucking cheering you on, that's for sure.
For sure.
Thank you for coming through, man. So y'all already know, man. The Bad Guys Show live, Dagr8fm Latino.com. At least not live today. We're recording today, but this is gonna come up. We're gonna be putting it up on the YouTube next week. Probably by Friday. Hopefully, we'll have this up.
And y'all comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, man.
Share it with your family and friends and your hamster and your goldfish.
Definitely. So y'all already know, man. Tune in and check us out, man. Purple Gorilla, y'all, I'm gonna put all the links down there and everything, so y'all check it out. So y'all already know. And Bad Guys Show, let's go.
Estás escuchando The Bad Guy Show.